Heavens to Betsy. And there's that picture of Tim Cook swimming in the air. Looks like he's trying to dog paddle or something. Yeah. This, looks like you haven't been very active on X this week. Oh. Liking and lurking. Really?
Again.
Genius move.
I wonder if they can hear Lewis and I, or if it's nobody. Oh, okay.
Or else it just doesn't matter.
Lewis, how's your day been?
Fantastic.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the Apple Watch?
I do. It's the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch, man. It's a life-saving piece of hardware.
There we go.
Very exciting.
Lives can it save?
It seems like, according to Leander's story, I mean, it seems like I only read at least 937 instances of people's lives, completely detailed. Oh, my God. My eyes are completely glazed over now. I wonder if I'm a little surprised that the Apple Watch didn't go off during my reading of that post. Light editing.
Oh, did that fix it? Oh, good. Well, not my YouTube stream. But apparently y'all can hear me now. Yeah. Just in time. I want to hear nothing about it, Lewis. Okay. Terrific. Well, let me know if the stream goes down because I can't see it.
God.
This is why you don't play with your settings mere minutes before going live.
I mean, didn't you learn anything from the late, great Leander Caney?
Yeah, but I thought I was different. R.I.P., by the way. I always think of him fondly whenever we bring him up. All right.
I still get a paycheck from somebody. I'm not going to ask questions.
That's just AI presence. The whole thing's run by AI now. When was the last time you saw Lewis in person?
I mean,
never.
Going on 3 years ago.
Yeah. That's about when he croaked. Uh-oh, he froze. Somebody restart him. There we go. Okay. Should we go ahead and just get this thing rolling? Let's hope and pray nothing else is going to go live. Oh, only our dignity and our standing in society, our jobs.
We lost that when we became podcasters in the first place.
Well, that is true. All right. Let me go ahead and queue up Mrs. You-Know-Who. We'll get this thing rolling on Mrs. D. Mrs. D. Oh, I can show you, my dear. El Kenny is alive and well. He makes ferocious love to me every night.
Yeah, I think it rhymes with the ferocious.
I can't think of any rhymes that atrocious.
There you go.
Wow, was that what you were thinking of?
Of course.
I can't believe it. God, simpatico today. All right, Mrs. D, no one wants to hear anything about that. In fact, we're all sufficiently grossed out. So if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and get this thing rolling. We got a lot of show to do. In 3, 2.
Come on, man.
Wrong button. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30 plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airfront Elijah. Joey today. He eats other tech editors for breakfast. At least that's the rumor, and that's what the San Francisco police believe and are actively investigating. We can't talk about it. It's an active investigation. He's the managing editor of Cult Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
This is the first cannibal accusation I've faced.
I don't think that's true. Also with us, he concurrently holds the records for most low-tech and most high-tech home in his rural Ohio community. He's also a writer for Cult Mac. Griffin Jones is here.
I like to go to the extremes. Vision Pro, Macintosh Plus. That's some combination.
Have you figured out how to get your Apple Laser Writer 2 connected to your Vision Pro?
I wish I had a laser writer. Instead, what I have is a 30-year-old Panasonic dot matrix printer. Which
Oh
is,
man, at least it's
you can
dot
technically
matrix.
print like a UPS shipping label with it, and they'll accept it. But it's not a great experience.
Well, it's Panasonic.
Talk about this. Is this the one with the little holes in the side of the paper?
Yeah, perforated. I keep.
Do they still make that, or do you have like a 40-year-old cache of it in your basement?
I have a thick bin full of multicolored perforated paper. I'm running out of my beige.
Dude, they still use dot matrix printers.
He's short on beige.
They still make dot matrix printers for, I think, businesses and stuff. So you can have like carbon copies and stuff. When you need something in triplicate, come on, get with it, Lewis.
I just requested something in triplicate just the other day.
Well, guess how they're going to do it for you, Lewis.
Well, I haven't seen or heard a dot matrix printer.
Well, consider yourself lucky.
Sound was mesmerizing.
Oh, it's one of the worst sounds in nature.
Oh, I love it.
All right, look. Let's see here. We got all sorts of terrific news stories to talk about this week. I should also mention just really quickly that we're going to be talking about the iPhone 17 Air's shocking thinness. We got some images to show you. We also are going to be talking about, let's see here, iPadOS 19 adding Mac-like home screen features. We're going to talk about the Mario Kart World. Well, our feelings on Mario Kart World are switched to pre-order experiences, or at least mine. Griffin's going to do a full review of the Sigma BF, that like super futuristic camera that he's been reviewing that kind of was making waves when it was first announced some time ago. We're going to wrap up with more of your voicemail messages, for better or for worse. Some of them are interesting. Some of them are wildly inappropriate. Some of them downright strange, Lewis. There's one I just said, nope, not playing that one.
Really?
Went ahead and just deleted it.
Hey, maybe you could drop that in the Slack for our internal.
You won't even want to listen to it. It's just like heavy metal, I'm possessed screaming. Someone out there knows who I'm talking about. It could have been calling us from the other side, regretting his life choices. In any case, we got a packed show. And before we move on, I want to thank Insta360 for supporting this episode. They have a new Insta360 X5 360 camera. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. And I don't have one, but I do very much want one because it's just such a Swiss Army knife. And it now does full 8K recording, completely bonkers. We'll talk more about that later in the episode, and we've got a special discount code if you want to buy one to get you a free accessory when you make your purchase. All right, let's just dive right in. Let's talk about iPhone 17 Air. Who is this, right, Lewis? Is this you?
Yes, it is.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Lewis. The people want to know. We got a picture here, and that thinness is actually insane. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, you've probably seen these, dummy units floating around, pictures of them all over the place. But have you seen the videos? Because the videos, that's what makes it look, really hammers home exactly how thin these things are.
Yeah.
One this week from Louis Hilsentagger from Unbox Therapy.
Our old pal.
He totally just goes by Lou, but I've got that claimed. Anyway, he was blown away by the thinness. He called it futuristic and joked that Apple might not sell any other models because customers will only want the super thin one.
I don't know about that.
Opening the package, he'd received like little dummy units of all of these, and he was literally like taking them out of the box, like undoing the bubble wrap. And like you can see the moment when he realizes he's holding the iPhone 17 Air because he's like, "Oh my God, we'll come back to this one later." And he like sets it aside. His reaction to it is just magical to watch.
Let's see. He said, "It feels like half," referring to its thickness, as he held it against the dummy of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not half, but feels like half. He said.
I mean, that image is bonkers that we have on the site. Unfortunately, I wish we could put images in our freaking episode art. Oh man, I actually that feature. I am continually sad that we no longer have that since switching to our new podcast host. That's what I was thinking about partly before we started the episode. Griffin was like, "What are you thinking about?" I'm like, "I shouldn't even get into it. It's just going to annoy me." Sorry, Lewis. Go ahead.
Yeah, so everybody's buzzing about how thin that thing is. There was another video released by Majin Buu showing people in a store in China, I guess. Like store people showing, oh, this is what it's going to look like. It wasn't an app. I don't know what it was. Some kind of weird like tech
It's a
store.
mock-up. Okay, yeah.
I mean, what an odd thing, showing dummies in a store. Here's what a phone's going to look like when it's released.
We think.
Quite odd.
Here's what a phone's going to look like, we think.
I mean, that is kind of weird, isn't it? But, people seem to be drawn to it. I got to say, I'm a little drawn to it just because it's different. I feel like I've had the same phone for 4 years.
Me too. 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
So how do we feel? Do you feel like you might actually buy the iPhone 17 Air?
It depends.
This is one question they have to answer for me, and they have to convince me.
I wouldn't mind something that was super thin if the battery life wasn't horrendous, which I worry that it will be, and that's going to be the big one, right? Because I don't often think that my phone's too heavy. And the other thing is, it's like not having the 3-camera optical zoom. That is also going to be something that I'm not sure I could give up because I do use that a lot.
You still have the 2x zoom, and I have to say I didn't really miss the 5x as much as I thought when I had the iPhone 16e. The biggest things I missed about when I had the 16e was MagSafe and ProMotion, and according to the rumors, this phone is going to have both of those. So I'm pretty interested in the 17 Air, but obviously I'm not going to buy a phone after just 1 year. I just bought one last year. What I've been thinking about is I'm actually kind of interested in the folding iPhone next year. I think I might buy it. It sounds cool. Like I'm not interested in buying an iPad because I don't feel like I want to buy like a whole, like third device that I have to keep updated all the time and like continue to rebuying. But like having a phone that's just also an iPad and they're the same thing, I don't know. I might actually buy the folding iPhone.
Oh, I feel like I have to buy the folding iPhone when it comes out. I don't know that there's a choice.
Oh my God.
But, I mean, it will definitely also depend at least on how much it costs. I mean, I'm only a blind loyalist to such a degree, right? It's like I've never bought a Mac Pro. There are certain devices where I'm like, I would love to have that, but like, am I going to spend $2,500 on an iPhone? I don't think that I'm willing to do that. So as much as I would want to have one, that price is inaccessible for a lot of people. And for me, I think that's going to be a deal breaker. It's like, dude, I'm not going to spend what I used to spend on a MacBook Pro on a phone. And now my MacBook Pro is like, Mac Pro territory, and the prices just keep going up. So we'll have to wait and see. But I know we're talking about something that we're looking at, which probably is never fun for those of you who are listening. So we'll include a link to the story, but like just seeing the image, it is mind blowing how thin it is. It's like, it looks like a credit card.
If you go by the measurements, it's closer to like 2/3 as thin, but it looks like it's credit card thin.
Yeah.
5.65 millimeters at its thinnest, according to Unbox Therapy. I'm trying to say that guy's name twice.
Lewis Helsentegger?
That compares to the Pro Max.
Kind of sounds like Schwarzenegger, don't you
Pro
think?
Pro Max is 8.75. Yeah. This one's 5.65. So, but yeah, it looks unnaturally thin. Like it almost looks like it's not possible. I guess we'll find
Chris
out.
Wood from the chat. We're getting ready for Bengate 2.0. Man, that whole ordeal. I mean, it just sent Unbox Therapy into the absolute stratosphere. We should go back and look to see how many views that video got. If y'all don't remember, like when the iPhone 6 came out, and Lewis Helsentegger was doing all those like, this phone has a major defect and he's bending them and stuff. And I do think actually the phone did have a defect. It was too easy to bend. So like he wasn't just making stuff up. And I think that video got like 77, 78 million, 80 million views. I mean, it was for a tech video, probably one of the most popular tech videos, if not the most popular tech video that has ever been made. It was a worldwide phenomenon, so much so that my mom, who I don't even think had an iPhone at the time, had asked me about it. I mean, that's how prevalent it was. It was worldwide news for like probably 2 to 3 week periods. Absolutely insane. And his channel just skyrocketed in viewership. After that, he went from like, I don't even know, I'm making stuff up, like 2 million to like 3.5, 4 million subscribers. I don't even know where he's at now. It's 20 million subscribers. Just makes me think back when I was
recording his.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just one last observation. Back when I was making YouTube videos, and I was like, this YouTube thing is interesting, but I think I'm gonna do podcasts instead. So I stopped, came to the podcast world. I could have been somebody,
He's
Lewis.
recording his video in like this weird like aircraft hangar or something like that. It's this giant open space. It looks like a bat cave almost.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. In fact, that's probably what it's designed to look like. It's like the I don't know if it's the Batcave. It's the like the equipment room inside of like Wayne Tower. That's exactly what it looks like. I don't know where he is. I don't know how many millions he spent to build that room.
I don't know how he possibly gets good sound out of that room, but
well, when money's
AI
no
backdrop.
option. Yeah, he's probably AI at this point. He's probably transcended his consciousness into AI. He's got to have the money for it, man. The guy's been in the YouTube game for so long. His RPM is probably like $12, and he's getting just like tens of millions of views a month. I like absolutely no hate towards Lewis Helsindeger. I don't want this to sound like criticism, but I do actually wonder if he's even into tech anymore. Like, he's been doing it for so long, and he's making so much money. And I wonder if he's actually even still interested in doing the work, or if he's just making so much money, just piles and piles of money, that he's like, I can't stop. Like, I'm just making so many millions of dollars. It'd be crazy to stop. But he's actually not even into tech anymore. He's probably moved on to other things. Like maybe he likes knitting or crocheting or foosball or anything. And he's like, I don't even want to do tech, but I have to.
I wonder if that iPhone 17 Air is going to be the actual first folding iPhone.
Yeah, it will be, just not intentionally.
you can fold it once.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You sit on it, it folds. That's it. You got to get a new one.
Gonna need to work on that crease.
All right. We sufficiently flogged that. Should we move on and talk about iPad OS 19, Griffin? You had some hot news there you wanted to share with us. I could tell you're sweating, eagerly
Absolutely.
anticipating.
So, we had heard last week that iPadOS 19 focuses on productivity, multitasking, and app window management, according to Mark Gurman. But now we have actual details coming from Majin Buu as well, predicting that, quote, the interface will adapt to show a new menu bar at the top, just like on macOS, turning the iPad into a much more laptop-like experience. But it's not going to be there all the time. It'll appear when you have the Magic Keyboard for iPad attached, which makes sense. I mean, the menu bar isn't exactly a precision, designed for the finger user interface. The same unconfirmed report also says that Stage Manager 2 will be part of iPadOS 19. This is an upgraded version that'll let you more freely size and arrange windows on the screen. Like right now, it's very weird. You're resizing windows between like fixed, predestined, what do you call it? Like predestined preset size classes. So you can't actually make a window like 5 pixels smaller. You have to make it like, as narrow as an iPhone and then as wide as an iPad mini. Or it's very complicated and kind of messy. But full, freely resizable windows coming in iPadOS 19. Majin Buu says this, quote, will make managing apps in Windows smoother and more productive than ever. And another part of this is related to the iPhone. I think we wrote it up as a separate story, but I'll just read through it here. Quote, iPhones with USB-C will support external displays, offering a Stage Manager-like interface. While not a full desktop mode, it'll allow users to extend their screen space, great for presentations, editing, or enhanced viewing. So, yeah. I feel like this is a kind of going along with the theme of Apple's upcoming software redesign. I feel like why Apple is doing this now is because a lot of their hardware that they have like a few years down in the pipeline are going to be more of these hybrid devices, like the folding iPhone that opens up basically into iPad.
Dude, I hope you're right. That'd be very cool. Yeah.
Or the 18-inch folding device that we don't know whether it's a Mac or an iPad that'll be a touchscreen thing, but it's foldable and hybrid. I mean, what kind of software it'll run, well, it doesn't really matter as much if all of the software looks and works like all of their other software. I feel like that's what they're trying to get at with this like broad software redesign and making all of these power features for all the lower end devices, because like they're seeing like 10 years down the line and they need a new software architecture that'll scale to like all across all of the different hardware. Right now, even projecting down further, like AR glasses that are, meant to replace your iPhone, that'll bridge between iOS and visionOS to give them a unified interface design.
I think that's
my theory.
I think that's an interesting theory, and what's interesting is that Apple does leave clues about what they're going to be doing in the future with the stuff that they release, and never was that more true with the AirPods Max, which when I did my review of those like 2 or 3 years ago, I observed that Apple must be coming out with some kind of like high fidelity music service at some point, because why else would they make these? There's nothing that they have that would allow you to take full advantage of the quality of the actual headphones, and then lo and behold, sometime later, that's actually what they did. People on that YouTube page, even still, when they go back and watch that review, are like, no way, this guy knew before. But it's like, dude, you can just kind of, if you think about the changes they make on a timeline and you look to see what they're doing, and then Apple's clearly, they're iterative, right? Like they probably have their product roadmaps mapped out at least 1 or 2 years ahead, I would imagine.
Oh,
and so they're trickling things out piece by piece, and things start to come together. You're like, wait, why are they doing this? Well, it's because they have a roadmap, right? Like we're on a point on that roadmap, and I think that is an interesting theory that they might be unifying things a little bit. Which anything that makes iPad more useful, I'm all for. Especially when I tried that 13-inch iPad, it was glaringly obvious that the OS was not in any way, shape, or form built to accommodate such a large display. I mean, the whole thing just looked weird. It looks like you have an iPhone on a 13-inch iPad. And there's a lot of like dead space around the icons, and the whole thing was just very kind of awkward to use and not optimized in any way. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with the iPad. All right. Anything else on that, Griffin, before we move it on?
No.
Okay.
All.
Those are our Apple stories for this week. That's it.
What?
Should I go ahead and start the music? But we do have some other interesting stuff to talk about. Griffin and I are going to go back and forth. More observations about Mario Kart World. Switch to pre-order horror stories. Griffin's got his Sigma BF review, which I think is probably one of the more interesting cameras that's been released in like the last several years. And then we're going to wrap up. I don't know if we should do this. We're going to do it anyway with your voicemail messages. Before we do that, though, let me tell you all more about the Insta360 X5. So I don't have this camera, but I do have an older version of the Insta360 X series. And I think that this is probably one of the most useful cameras that most people don't necessarily consider having in their bag. Like a lot of people just have like a point and shoot, right? But like if you're doing video and you only wanted one camera, this actually might be the one to get, because 360 cameras are so incredibly useful, and they're easy to use. So before I dive too much into it, let me actually go in here and make sure I'm not missing anything. Here we go. Today's episode is sponsored by Insta360, a leader in 360-degree action camera technology. Their latest 360-degree camera, the Insta360 X5, launched April 22nd and shoots full 360-degree videos in an insane 8K 30 resolution, which is insane for something of this size. Let's see here. I want to make sure I don't miss any points. Let's talk about that 8K. What does that mean? Well, there's two cameras on the 360 camera, the front and the back camera. And so when you are recording in 8K, you get 4K on each side, right? So that means no matter what direction you're going to point the video after you've recorded it, it's all going to be in 4K. Huge improvement over previous cameras, which I think were like 5.7 or 6K. So now you're getting true 4K video. One of the things I love about the Insta360 cameras is they have very good low light performance, but their video actually looks good. Anytime I've used one, like the video, the HDR, it looks very pleasing, and you don't have to do any editing on it. It just looks great right out of the camera. And the other thing that's I think what makes the Insta360 camera useful is you don't actually have to point the camera at anything. That is the hard part about being like the family videographer, is like you have to like get the shot, right? You have to point the camera somewhere and get the shot. With a 360 camera, you literally just hold the camera on a stick. It records everything in a 360-degree area, and then you edit it after the fact, and you can point the perspective of the camera at anything that you want. And you can even do this like on your iPhone. So like you'll load the video on your iPhone, and you move your iPhone around, and it shows you what's going on in the video as you're pointing it in different directions. It's like the Matrix. And so you can literally edit a video just by pointing it in different directions as you're playing it on your phone. And everything around you is something that you can focus on. It's just super useful. This camera has replaceable lenses. So if you accidentally scratch the lenses, you can actually go in there and replace them, which, has been a problem on past cameras. Like if you scratch the lens, it's like you can't do anything about that unless you want to send it in for repair. This one has a new wind guard for clearer audio, and they've made it waterproof down to 15 meters, aka 49 feet. So it's just improved all around. And if you are someone like me, you want to have like great video just of like family events. If you're going on vacation, maybe to Disney World, you want to like take video of like your kids walking around the park. This is going to be such an excellent option for you. If you've never tried a 360 camera, you should absolutely try one. Once you kind of get used to like the paradigm of 360 video, which I think is even easier than normal cameras, you're going to totally fall in love with it. And they have just made this series, the X series, better and better and better. And that's why even I'm like, I kind of want one of these too. And may end up buying one just for like family vacations and stuff, just because it is such a Swiss Army knife. All right, to score a free 45-inch invisible selfie stick with your Insta360 X5, head to store.insta360.com, store.insta360.com, and use the promo code CultCast. This is available for only the first 30 purchases, so if you want to do it, make sure you get in on that action, and you can get more information. We'll include a link to the store and stuff in our show notes. And one of the things I should also mention is the selfie stick is what you use to like hold the camera above you or like outside of like your area when you're recording, and the camera somehow magically just removes the stick from the footage. So when you're taking video, you won't see the selfie stick. You just see yourself doing whatever you're doing in your footage. And they do that via some kind of magic AI process or something. I don't know. But it works very, very, very well. So, yeah.
I thought you misspoke because I thought you said it was an invisible selfie stick.
Well, it is. It's invisible. So make sure that you got to attach an AirTag to it. Otherwise, it's gone forever, until you trip on it or something. No, Lewis, it's real in the real world, but in the video footage,
I see.
It's invisible. So, and the reason I did such exposition on this is because a lot of people have never used a 360 camera, and they find them to be maybe kind of scary, but they're actually easier to use than a normal camera because you can just edit the video all after the fact and point the camera at anything that was around you when you were doing whatever you were doing. So they're just really fun. Store.insta360.com, and make sure you use the code CultCast at checkout to get your free invisible selfie stick. And when the box shows up with the selfie stick in it, just make sure if you don't see it, you got to search around for it with your hands, right? Because you won't be able to see it until you actually feel for it. Thanks to Insta360 for supporting this episode. Let's talk about Mario Kart for a bit, shall we, Griffin?
What do you want to start with, Mario Kart World or the
let's start with the pre-orders. Let's start with the pre-orders, shall we? First of all, did you get one?
So I'm very interested in a Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay.
And I would have liked to pre-order one, and I was awake at midnight. I just happened to be awake like around the time the pre-orders dropped at a lot of the stores.
Yeah.
But I'm moving. I don't know where I'm going to live between now and June 5th. So I don't feel like I could actually place a pre-order. Like, I can't order it here. I don't live here.
And you don't know where you're going.
Where I'm going to live. Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't know, which is frightening. And it keeps me awake in every waking moment where I'm not otherwise occupied. So I haven't yet placed a pre-order.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm aware.
Yes, Lewis, I'm aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be
your bug out bag ready.
That ghillie suit you've been using to avoid Lewis will come in handy when you're sleeping in the field. Old Farmer Barnaby's field.
if I don't find a new place, I could renew my lease here for another month, but I don't know if I'll do that or not. So I can't order it yet.
Man, okay. So you've got other things in your
Just have
mind.
it sent out here to San Francisco. We'll
There you
take
go.
care of it for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I bet you will. Well, I also didn't order mine. I tried to, but
Oh.
I realized at midnight it's 12 a.m. Eastern time. Lewis.
You stayed
Eastern.
up until midnight and
I
discovered that you were
stayed
3 hours
up.
late?
I'm always up at midnight, Lewis. Every
Really?
single night. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's like usually when I'm heading to bed. So I looked and I'm like, wow, everyone's sold out. How's that possible? I was 12 a.m. Eastern time. So Best Buy sold out. GameStop sold out. Amazon never even carried the Switch 2, which I find to be totally bizarre. I don't know what's going on between them and Nintendo, but no Nintendo Switches to be had. And so I'm SOL, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, I did register for the Nintendo lottery. If you have a Nintendo account, and I guess if you play enough games, they will award you a slot to buy the very prestigious Switch 2. But the other thing is, like, at some point, I imagine Best Buy and all these other stores will be restocked. Nintendo does this intentionally with every single console. They limit order availability to build up the hype, and then everyone starts bemoaning that they're sold out, and then when they make them available again, everyone loses their mind and goes and buys it. So I'm hoping that's what happens, but I'm truly sad. I've
seen
sad.
some people who missed the online pre-order who just went to their local GameStop in the morning at opening time, and then they let you sign up to place a pre-order like with the store physically.
That's what my friend told me, but I'm like, I'm not going to head to a store at 11 a.m. We got the show at 12, but also I would prefer to buy from Best Buy. I just like Best Buy better. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm terribly sad about the whole thing. Yes, I realize it's a first world problem, undoubtedly. But dude, I was so careful. I knew the pre-order was coming. I've been waiting for it. I've been following all of it, and to make such a rookie mistake
I'm stunned.
is just absolutely unfathomable to me. So, and the other thing that I'm worried about is like, well, they sold out of their initial allotment. Are they going to raise the prices because of tariffs on the second round? Like they might. So now I have to pay, even more, which I don't want to do because I think $500 might be my threshold.
I guess that's worth mentioning. If any Nintendo fans are listening to this segment who only get their news from this podcast and somehow nowhere else, I guess we should mention, just because the last we heard on the show, they had delayed pre-orders in the US around tariffs.
Yeah.
Around because of the price. And they just announced, I think like a week ago, that the new price is the same price, $450 for the Switch 2, $500 if you order the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World. So I don't know why they had to pause for a while.
Well, the tariff situation had been evolving so quickly, they were probably like, whoa, what's going on? We don't know what the tariff situation is. Like, we didn't even know because things kept changing. But there are still tariffs in place. Now, I imagine that Nintendo's profit margin is such on this console that they could probably eat a 10% tariff because they've raised the price $150 on this console. So maybe we won't see a price increase. And there's only so much people can stomach. I mean, Nintendo has already gotten absolutely roasted for their price. So
it's not actually that much higher than the original Switch if you account for inflation, because the original Switch is almost 8 years ago.
Sure, but people don't account for inflation. So, people just say, hey, your price used to be $300, now it's $450. What are you doing, Nintendo, you gritty scumbags? And then they get all angry, and they start, an onslaught of angry petitioners in every single video and live stream that Nintendo makes on YouTube. I mean, people were
Who
so
listens
pissed.
to those people anyways? Those people's opinions aren't worth listening to.
Well, I don't know if they care or not, but I just don't know that you want to upset your hardcore fans. If they get angry enough,
are going to find something to get upset and angry about anyways, no matter what they do.
That's true. And who knows if those people were ever even planning on buying the console. Anyway, so I'm not getting one. You're not getting one. Great. What great tech reviewers we are. Absolutely terrific. Well, I'll be trying to lock one down. But my dear friend, the great Aaron Hughes, he got one from another place, and he had a slot in the Nintendo lottery as well. So he was like, if I get it, you can have it. So hopefully between these two outlets, between my reservation and his, one of us will get it and I'll get the console. But let's talk about Mario Kart World, maybe if only briefly, because we talked about it last week. We kind of teased it, and then I hadn't watched the actual Nintendo Connect, which is available on YouTube now. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And I was watching through it, and I was like, I really can't think of a single thing about this video that I don't love. It is such a massive improvement on this game that we all love. Some people were complaining that, it's just more of, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, why is that a bad thing? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was a great game, and now you're just making it bigger, better, more fun. You get the 4K 60 if you're docked, which if they had only done that, might have been enough for me. You have the ability to drive to all these to drive from course to course. But I think probably the biggest one for me is like the exploration mode, where you can just literally just drive around the entire world and just explore it and go on different missions like in the actual game. This is going to be a game, especially with kids my age. I have 4 kids, as many of you know. I have a 9 and 8. I can barely even keep track anymore. 6 and a 5.
Your age.
Did I say kids my age? Is that what I said?
Sound a little odd.
I'm not even going to correct it, Lewis. That's why you're the best in the biz, though. And
hello, fellow kids.
I mean, I do go hang out with 15, 16-year-olds. You guys don't do that? This game is going to be something that we replay together for years and years and years and years, especially as they get better at gaming. And seeing that beautiful 4K 60 image just got me so excited, because the fidelity of Nintendo gameplay and it being barely 1080 for so long has looked so... Nintendo first-party games look good, but they're going to look their absolute chef's kiss best going forward. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, maybe the Luigi Mansion games, like all those games are going to look so much better on like an actual 4K fidelity. And Mario Kart at 4K 60 is going to be so crispy, so beautiful and colorful, driving around all those different worlds. They added some features that make the game easier to play for kids. I mean, I have a whole list of stuff that we can enumerate on, but I'll let you go next while I sit here and read this and figure out if there's anything else I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I don't understand the argument that this is just Mario Kart 8 again at all, because this is a completely different, first of all, the open world, yeah. They've taken the best part of, actually one of the many good parts of Mario Kart 64 and made it the whole game. That one, the Peach's Castle course, where you can drive off the course and explore the castle from Super Mario 64.
Yes.
That's the best part of that game. And they made this whole game like that. You can drive freely between the courses, the exploration mode, Nintendo puts an incredible amount of work into the level design that you never see. That's why there's YouTube videos, or there's a whole genre of YouTube videos where it's exploring the levels of Mario Kart, because you never see 90% of the level. And they've actually designed this whole game around that. That's fantastic. There's a lot of new items. There's the
you mean
coin.
weapons and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the coin pile. All right. The ice flower, which is pretty much, I can tell, exactly like the fire flower except ice.
There's chips.
Hammers.
There's a bag of chips.
Yeah. They've really improved the jumping mechanic. They've made that more significant. With the feather, you can now jump much greater heights if you hit the drift button, but you keep driving straight. So that seems interesting. I'm excited to try that out. What's really great, I was kind of confused by the rewind feature when they first showed it off in the direct. So you're driving, you make a mistake, and you can rewind yourself, just like you're hitting rewind on a VCR. You just go backwards a few seconds. Everybody else keeps driving forwards. And I was like, well, what's the point of that? Why would you ever want to do that? Why would you want to just push yourself backwards? Until I realized they're fixing a problem that Mario Kart has always had, in that reverse is incredibly hard to do.
Yeah.
And instantly loses the race if you ever have to reverse. Sometimes it's barely your fault. You just hit the wrong spot on the level design and you get trapped for a few seconds and, I have to reverse. And then you end up losing 30 seconds because you have to remember which button is the reverse button because you never press it. Because why?
And it's incredibly difficult for kids to do.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're right. This makes it super easy.
And for some reason, driving in reverse is incredibly slow. I don't know why they make it so slow, but the rewind is just like a better version of that. Like, oh, you just instantly go back to where you were at full speed. Another improvement over Mario Kart 8 that I noticed is that you no longer have to pick, or at least I don't think you pick any more like different carts versus wheels.
Vehicle
versus
attributes. Yeah, you just pick the
parachute
car and it
thing.
comes pre-built. Yeah.
Yeah. Much simpler. That was always like way overcomplicated. And whatever custom thing you make is always going to be worse than just like picking the wheels that are clearly designed for that car. It was kind of a messy system, so I'm glad they just removed that. You have NPCs throwing extra hazards on the course, which I think balances out another change they made where if you run into an obstacle, you don't slow down as much as you used to. Hitting a banana, like especially in Mario Kart 64,
Oh, interesting.
you come to a complete stop,
Yep.
and then you'd have to accelerate.
Oh, you're
from zero
screwed.
again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you pay attention to the direct, they show a character like hitting a banana, they spin out and they slow down a bit, but they don't come to a complete stop.
Okay.
So I think they've
I like that.
made the obstacles a little less game changing, a little less ruinous on your course if you hit one, but they've also added more. And so that, I mean, all of these little things, like the changes to the mechanics of the game itself, are going to make it feel like a very different game.
Oh,
So,
100%. And look how beautiful it looks. And the one thing that literally no one else is talking about, and I'll say it here as a first on YouTube. No one ever talks about this in the Mario Kart games, but the absolutely incendiary and beautiful soaring electric guitar parts that are part of this game. Like some of the levels have like some of like the best guitar solos that you'll ever hear in any, well, I was going to say game, just period. They have brought in like such insanely talented, I'm going to guess they're Japanese, like electric guitarists to play solos throughout some of these tracks. The music that you get to hear when you're just racing around the game is like actually really good music that takes the whole experience like a whole new level. And some like the guitar solos that I heard, I was like, dude, that is like an absolutely fire solo that this guy is playing. And he's doing it in a video game. This guy's never going to get any credit for like his actual talent or ability. But they bring in so many great musicians to assemble this music that you get to listen to as you just go around these different levels.
You can't play any of it, can you?
Me?
Yeah. No, I mean just like right now, you got a snippet of it.
Oh, no, I can't. Oh, dude, I can't even. So for those of you listening, I'm just showing snippets of like the actual Nintendo Connect or Nintendo Connect. Oh, that is what it's called. Oh my gosh.
Direct.
Direct. I'm like smashing together my consoles. If I played 2 seconds of this, we'd be probably taken down immediately. Nintendo.
Oh,
yeah.
litigious.
Yeah. I can't even play any of this. Like no music,
I mean,
no
geez,
visuals,
There
anything.
couldn't be a more absolute stone cold fair use thing. You're commenting on it, and you
Yep.
play
would
it.
think.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nope. Nintendo will throw down the legal hammer in a millisecond.
Crazy
But
Japanese
Yeah,
lawyers.
I know. So
about
I
the
just.
music, though, I'm always there for the saxophones. Those good jazzy
Oh, yeah.
saxophones.
Oh yeah, I love the new
What,
characters that you get to
saxophones
choose
and
from.
electric
So many more. Oh, sorry. What was that, Lewis?
Saxophones and electric guitar.
Oh, dude, so much great music.
Sometimes in the same track.
Yeah, sometimes you get both at the same time.
I have one
man.
question about the design of the game, though, because like obviously the whole shtick of the game is it's a world. All of these tracks exist on one continent, but that makes me wonder, like, how are they going to add DLC to the game? Are they going to add new tracks, like in the empty spaces between
Probably.
other tracks, or maybe you like go to a different continent or a different
Yeah,
island?
or that. Yeah,
Maybe.
that's interesting observation, especially because you can drive from like one track to the next. In explore mode, you like drive from different tracks to different tracks and cross the different world. Which that alone, like my kids are gonna love that. Just being able to just drive through the world and find missions to do and just explore. They're gonna absolutely love that. I don't know if you can explore in multiplayer. I wonder if that's.
When I was a kid, I was so bad at video games that I didn't, half the time I wasn't playing the video game. I was just exploring stuff.
Yeah, same with them. Like they actually are. Although I would say Mario Kart is actually very approachable for someone who doesn't have a lot of skills because there are a lot of guardrails that you can use to just stay on the track. But same with them, and so they just kind of want to go around and explore the world. Okay, look, we've gone on too long, but we wanted to at least pick up where we left off last week because this game just has so much packed in. And I know a lot of you all, I can tell from the chat, are actually big Nintendo fans. And obviously many of you were also upset that you missed the pre-order, which you're not alone. Just don't buy a scalped one. It's not worth it. We know what Nintendo's going to do. They're going to make it seem as though everything's sold out. And then, oh my gosh, a new supply just came in. This is what they do every single console. They are the masters at creating artificial demand. And so let's just hold it out and see what happens. But again, you can't buy it from Amazon. For some reason, they don't seem to have these for sale. So it's going to be one of the other outlets. Okay. Let's move on. Should we talk about the Sigma BF? Your new BF, the Sigma camera?
Every time I hear this, I say, why didn't they just call it the BFF?
They should have.
What does the BF stand for?
It does stand for something, but I forget what it stands for.
Oh, great.
But anyways, I published my review of this camera on Cult of Mac. I made a video, which I think you should watch. I'll sort of go over the highlights here, the main biggest points. I guess I should also say, for those of you watching, I did return it earlier this week, so I no longer have it to show to you, but that's what the YouTube video is for, and that's what the pictures are for. The design, it's absolutely gorgeous. I was surprised to see a few YouTube comments saying they thought it was ugly. These must not be true.
It's YouTube.
OG Apple fans. It is like the pure silver, like unadorned aluminum. Like that is just classic Apple to me, as someone who mostly got into Apple during the early Intel era. The ergonomics, again, it kind of looks like it'll be uncomfortable because it's this giant block of aluminum. But if you pay close attention, there are like really 3 ergonomic affordances that they have. They have a tiny little thumb scoop. They have a little corner cut out of the bottom right edge, and the sides of it are slightly tapered. So it actually is pretty comfortable to hold in the hand. It's slightly too heavy to hold one-handed, so you're often holding it two-handed, like with the other hand braced underneath, but it's easy to hold in that way. The controls. Say what you will about how it looks, the specs, whatever. I think the genuine innovation in this camera is how simple the controls are. You have exactly the right number of controls as you need and nothing more. I feel like as modern full-size, like dedicated camera, full-frame cameras need to differentiate themselves against smartphones because everybody has a smartphone, they overcorrect on adding too many dials and buttons. This thing, you can know nothing about cameras, pick it up, take a picture, easy.
Wow.
Or like it so intuitively arranges all of the complex features that you would expect from a full frame camera as well. You have like the one menu you can bring up for shooting settings, a menu for like the actual camera interface settings itself, which is a separate thing. There's the button that you can press to switch between taking pictures and reviewing pictures. But because the button is capacitive, you can like hold your finger on the button to get an instant preview of it and then release. Like you don't have to enter playback mode to get a quick preview of the last picture you took. That's a genuine, really smart innovation. You might be concerned that because the buttons are haptic, that they won't work if you're wearing gloves. But I
was very concerned about that.
They're pressure sensitive, not capacitive like your smartphone.
Oh.
So that means that you can wear gloves and they'll still work.
Oh.
You can use
Nice.
a completely inert piece of plastic. Like I pressed the buttons with a comb and they still worked. I used like a giant thick blanket and they still worked.
That's how we tested Cult of Mac.
Did you try it with one of those like giant sports foam hands? How'd that work? Oh, you didn't even
have
try.
one in
Oh,
my hand.
great. What are we doing over here, Lewis? We need some standards. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Oh yeah. The actual picture quality itself, because it's a full frame sensor, but it's only 24 megapixels, which isn't a lot of resolution.
I think it's
Other
enough,
ones go
though.
up to 40 at the same size, but because the pixels are so large relative to the size of the sensor, just unparalleled performance in the dark. It's incredible.
Huh.
I took pictures. I didn't include these in the review, but like I took pictures in absolute complete darkness, no lights on, and yeah, they were grainy, but you could still see an incredible amount of detail in them. Any picture that I would need to take like in the middle, like peak brightness of the day on my iPhone, I could take the same picture with virtually no visible grain, like in the late evening, only one light on. Like, it's just incredible the amount of low light photography that you can get out of this thing, with how clear it'll be too. The downside, though, is that because it doesn't use any computational photography, you don't have HDR. And so if you're taking a picture of like a relatively dark room with a window in the background and it's bright outside, the background's going to be blown out. It doesn't do as much aggressive processing.
That's pretty common
as the
across
iPhone does.
all cameras, though. I mean, that's one of the big hangups on normal cameras. It's like, that's why if Apple made like an actual mirrorless camera, it would absolutely destroy. Like, it'd have like the M2 chip in it, and like the HDR would be like the most realistic thing that you've ever seen in your life. I don't know why Apple doesn't do it. I think it actually would sell well. It's probably just not a big enough market.
Yeah. Video quality. This is clearly a photography camera and not a video camera. I mean, the clue is the fact that the display doesn't flip out and it doesn't have a cold shoe mount on the top.
Yeah.
It's video on a tripod is excellent, but and it does record 6K video. So if you wanted to, you could record in 6K and then use Final Cut to add a lot of motion stabilization without sacrificing on resolution. But the autofocus is pretty quick, but it's not great for video.
Yeah, it's not shocking.
Yeah. And it's not stable. Even you can even turn on the camera's own digital stabilization and it's still pretty shaky.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
put it on a tripod and you'll get excellent footage out of it. It doesn't have an SD card slot, just the internal memory.
God, that is weird.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, my Mac Mini doesn't have an SD card slot, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just convenient. You don't have to worry about formatting cards. It's great. You can store like, I think 14,000 pictures on it before you run out of space. So if you're like doing a wedding photography shoot on this, like that probably wouldn't be good for it, but
I mean, it
Plenty-
probably
plenty of
wouldn't be
space.
good for the wedding either.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, all right.
It's great. It's a great camera. It's designed around being fun and easy to take pictures, and it does that exceedingly well.
Okay.
And I miss it already.
$2,000 goes on sale April 25th, which is tomorrow. If you're hearing this, you know what? I don't know that this camera would be for me, but when it comes to Sigma, I'm a fan. I love their lenses. I think that out of all the camera companies out there, Sigma is probably positioned best to actually make a camera that would succeed. People like Sigma stuff. They love their lenses. Their cameras have been a bit weird and appealing only to like a fringe of people, but I think it's smart. They're kind of building up a fan base, slowly, and they're making products that get attention, which is hard to do in the camera space. And so I'm curious to see where they go. I'm a huge fan of their lenses. Like I said, that's a great place to start because the lens is even more important than the camera in many respects. And so I think with the camera stuff, like they might get there eventually. I love that they're making a full frame camera with a fixed lens. I think that that's a market that doesn't have a lot of entries from anyone. I mean, you're either going to have to buy, well, if there was a Sony camera that had a full frame, or that was full frame with a fixed camera lens. I don't even know they make it anymore, like the RX 100 or something. I forget what it was called. Fujifilm doesn't make one. Theirs is medium format. So this space, I think, is one that could be dominated by one of the players willing to enter it. Nikon has a full frame, fixed lens camera. Or is it full frame? I don't think it actually is fixed frame or fixed lens, I should say. So I'm not sure that there are very many companies doing this. So Sigma could eventually take this over. And I think a full frame fixed lens camera would do really well if it were the right mix of features. All right. Let's move on.
I can ask you a question.
No way.
Yeah, go
We're
for it.
moving on, Lewis.
Yeah, one question.
Okay, fine. What?
How'd you take those pictures of you holding the thing? Did you use the Vision Pro?
Of me holding it? No, just my iPhone on a tripod in front of me.
That must have been awkward.
It was, yes.
I was hoping that
Especially
you were
because
standing
my-
outside in your yard in Ohio with the Vision Pro on, taking pictures of yourself, shooting video.
Oh, no, the Vision Pro doesn't take very great pictures. Those would be incredibly grainy and basically unusable.
see.
But my tripod is falling apart in a few different places. I really need a new one. So it was a very delicate setup.
Never stand outside in your rural area in a Vision Pro. That's a recipe to get blasted by, Farmer Vic's shotgun.
Aliens.
Aliens, honey, aliens. That's like that scene from Back to the Future when he shows up in that guy's barn, right? With like the suit on, he tries to shoot him. Never go outside with that thing, man. All right. I think that's all the Apple stuff and other tech-related stories. I think we're ready to do... Okay, fine. Let's do it.
Open up the speak.
Let's open up the... let's crank open the Speakpipe. If you all want to send us voicemails, these have been really fun. And we're getting a lot more now, by the way. So we can't even play them all at this point. But we would love to keep getting these. We'll keep playing them on the show. I think it makes for an interesting segment. Hopefully you all agree. If not, let me know on the all-new X. I'm at Lewis Wallace. Send your complaints there. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/cultcast, speakpipe.com/cultcast. You can do it on your phone in Safari. It's really super easy. It will probably take you 30 seconds. Try to keep the messages shorter. I think some of these might be like a minute and a half. That might be too long. 30 to 60 seconds is probably optimal. Maybe practice it once before you send it. Or not. We don't care. I'll just cut you off after 60 seconds, especially if it gets boring. Don't send me any more screaming or anything weird. I don't want to listen to that. The hell's wrong with you
I was
people?
thinking maybe we could solicit like specific kinds of messages. Like, send Lewis questions about, I don't know, dart smithing, or
Yeah, that's a
send me
great
questions
suggestion.
about, classic Apple trivia or Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I don't know. What
Or
else
feedback
our
on a
fans are
previous show or something you want us to talk about. I mean, whatever. Okay, let me go ahead and bring this up. This one comes from our old pal, Intuitom. Intuitom, what do you got to say for yourself?
This is Tom, a.k.a. Intuitom,
Yeah, I just said that.
one of your OG listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Guys are doing a great job.
Oh, shucks.
I got 3 grievances to air, and hopefully you didn't listen to this before the show.
No, I haven't.
It goes on. Number 1,
I've got my finger on the stop button, though, in case this gets too true.
there's like over 400 people in the Cult Club,
Yeah.
which is great, but there's like precisely 5 people talking in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say to the other 395, speak up. It's a great place. You spent your money, you forked it over. Why not talk in the Cult Club with the rest of us?
Okay, so in their defense, when we first launched it, we opened it up to everybody. So there's a lot of people in there that didn't have to pay. So that's technically my fault. And I have thought about doing a major culling and purging people, which I probably should do because a lot of those people never actually sign in. So maybe that's something that we should consider. So I will say that there's a lot of people in there that I would say the majority of people never paid, and I didn't have the heart to kick them out.
And we should also say that for a while, the paid members of the Cult Club were getting kicked out of it.
Oh my gosh.
For some reasons. If you're a paid member, like, we fixed that problem. You can get a new link to get your permanent invitation.
Yeah, that's true. And hopefully you'll be able to stay in. I'll give you, let me see. How long is this? This might be too long to play the whole thing. We'll do one more.
Pretty cool. Number 2, what's up with the varying times of the live stream? We need to plan ahead. I've missed like the last month and a half, maybe.
Are you
2
listening to
months
this,
of the
Lewis?
live stream?
Am
Because
I
of the
listening
starting
to it?
times
I hope you're
being
taking
Friday.
notes.
all over the place. So shore that up, guys.
Yeah, Lewis. Are you taking notes here, Lewis?
I've got a great response the next time you say we need to do it on Friday.
Okay, look, I take full responsibility.
Exhibit A.
Although I do like to blame Lewis for everything. It's just every show is a unique animal. We never know what's going to happen. And just wait. If you think things are bad now, we're losing our access to Skype next week. And we're still not sure how we're going to be doing the show live because no one has the features that we need built into their tools, although I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough. I think he's right. And this is criticism I've heard before. I wouldn't even call this criticism. It's more like a show suggestion. It's like, hey, I want to listen to the live show, but I can't because I don't know when you guys actually go live. And the truth of the matter is the reason you don't know is because we don't actually know. So we should probably try to stick with the time. But, without getting too much in the details, we all got stuff going on. Sometimes it's hard to land, especially for me, the exact same time every week because sometimes things come up. I'm not done with my 140 push-ups or whatever, and I got to make my protein shake still. And we got to do the show, but I appreciate that feedback into it, Tom.
2 out of 3 of us have jobs that involve many responsibilities.
Yeah. That is also true. So we tried to be accurate, but we could definitely tighten that up. Okay, I'm gonna move on. This one comes from Pavlos.
Hey guys, this is Pablo Schlotter from Germany.
Pavlos Schlatter from Germany. I already like where this is going. I haven't listened to this, by the way. I hope he starts swearing at us in German.
I've been listening to the podcast since it first launched, and
Wow.
I've been hooked from day one.
Oh.
I really enjoy hearing you dive into the different topics
I like
and
this guy.
share your thoughts.
This is where he goes into a horrible criticism. Just wait. It always starts with
However,
it always starts with here's what you're doing right. And I'm going to tell you 5 other things that make you the worst podcast on earth. Here we go.
And you've talked quite a bit about the Apple glasses since they came out.
Oh.
Have you seen or heard anything about people feeling sick, nauseous, or even throwing up while using them? I usually have trouble with devices like that myself, since I tend to feel sick pretty quickly. Thanks a lot, and I hear you soon.
God, Pavlos
I can-
Schlatter. I love this
we can
guy.
speak to a
Okay.
bit of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the Vision Pro has such an insanely high frame rate that it runs at, I think it's like 120, maybe even higher, like 90 FPS, something like that. It has incredibly low latency, and that's usually the problem with cheaper headsets that gets you motion sickness.
Okay.
I very rarely feel motion sick in my Vision Pro, and I wouldn't say that I'm especially susceptible to motion sickness, but I feel it in a car or a bus if I'm sitting in the back or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But
Me too.
I never get it in the Vision Pro unless there's this one app that I use that you don't have to ever touch, and in fact I don't really recommend it. There's this one app that puts you in like a virtual roller coaster on the Vision Pro.
Now, if anything's going to make you hurl, it's going to be that one for sure.
Yeah, it's a motion sickness machine. It like it's not honestly very fun, but most of the stuff in the Vision Pro you won't feel motion sick at all.
You know what's interesting? That's a great question from Pablo Schlatter. And I tend to get motion sick in VR situations. Like one time in particular, I was experimenting with this VR game at the Penny Arcade Expo, the big video game convention here in Seattle. And it was like an FPS fast-paced shooter, right? And I was playing it, and it was pretty fun. And then I'm like, it's like hit me. I'm not feeling so good. I'm a cold sweat, right? And start feeling disoriented. Super bad nausea kicks on. And I had to sit in the hotel lobby for like an hour and a half afterwards to recover. It took me forever to recover. I don't know if I'm more susceptible to it than other people, but I will also say, when you go to Universal Studios Orlando, the Harry Potter rides that they have are very video screen centric. At least 2 of them are. And one of them, I made it about 5 seconds into that ride, and I was like, I need to shut my eyes, because if not, I'm going to puke on everyone below me. And you're on like this giant robotic arm that's like twisting you and turning you, and then it plops you in front of like a big video screen where things are moving very quickly. And I could not handle that at all. So all that preamble aside, I don't think I had a single instance of nausea when I was wearing the video or the Vision Pro for those 2 weeks. Now, I wasn't doing anything fast paced. I'm not insane enough to try the roller coaster, projectile puke machine simulator that Griffin tried, but I'm sure they spent a lot of time crafting strategies and probably any kind of, technology to reduce that. I never experienced that, but it kind of sounds like maybe Pablos did. And once we have games and stuff, that will be the true test, I think. But I just sat in like the middle of Joshua Tree watching movies, or in that giant theater that you can do, which was also very cool. All right. I don't think we have time for all these. Man, I might do one more. We'll see how this one goes. This one is from Mike. I don't know if they're Mike from... I can't read the last of it. It's too small. All right, let's just hear for the message from Mike.
Gentlemen, this is Mike from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
He said gentlemen like Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Gentlemen!
Greetings. I have been listening to the CultCast since episode number 1. Wow. Erfan, it would be great if you were able to repost that episode just so we can listen to it and see how far you have come.
Oh, man. Not far enough, I fear. That episode is, I think, posted. I think you can go back and look and listen to it, but if not, I should repost it. But I mean, that's incredible. We don't get a lot of people from the Gov Club, as I call them, the original CultCast listeners. So that's really cool.
You'd have to scroll back pretty far on Apple Podcasts, but you can find it.
Yeah, it should be there if you scroll back.
But my comment and request is for Airfon. Airfon, I miss the days when you would just complain about Comcast or AT&T and what they are putting you through.
Oh,
So
I
my
could go into that
request
right
is,
now.
do you have any Comcast or AT&T stories that you can regale us with? I looked forward to those on an almost weekly basis and miss them. And on a side question, do you have any updates or stories on MoviePass? I miss those as well.
Oh man,
Keep up the great work, guys. Take care.
thank you, Mike. Well, we don't have enough time for me to do an AT&T diatribe, but there's always plenty of material. But one of the reasons I stopped with Comcast is because, and you probably wouldn't all know this, years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I noticed some utility dudes in front of my house stringing something up in my neighborhood, and I came outside and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" And he's like, "We're installing fiber." I went inside that moment and I signed up for fiber optic internet connection, and it's been the absolute best, most reliable internet I have ever had. I mean, I have a gig up, a gig down. I do actually have some gripes that I could do, especially the unsavory business practices of the company that I'm currently subscribed to, absolutely just lying their arse off about my price being fixed. In fact, I think there needs to be a class action lawsuit against this. There's a whole Reddit thread on this, and there's a bunch of us who signed up, and we were promised what they call a price for life guarantee. As long as you don't move, they'll never change your price. Well, that lasted for about 3 years, and then all of a sudden, my price starts going up. And I contacted this company. I'm not saying their name because I don't want them to sue me, even though I believe that I'm actually in the right on this. And they said,
X, right?
no, it doesn't. And so they said, "Oh, we have no record of you having a price for life guarantee." And I'm like, "Well, I did." And they're like, "Well, do you have any evidence of that?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I just figured that you would honor that." And so I start doing some research. That's what they're telling everybody. All these people who had signed up for this price for life guarantee have no evidence, because how do you collect that evidence, right? When you go to sign up for an offer, like, do you take a screenshot of it? Like, no one does that. And so my price keeps going up and up and up, even though I was promised that it would remain at $60 a month for the entire duration of my actual connection. Nope, no emails, Lower Remix in the chat, no emails, nothing, dude, nothing. And every bill just shows the price, but it doesn't say that I have a price for life guarantee. Now, someone did make a suggestion, which I thought was actually quite genius. They're like, you should go into the Wayback Machine and go to their website for the time that you signed up and see if there's anything on their website that says that guarantee was in place, and then go to your like insurance commissioner, or I don't know, county detective, I don't know who I would contact, and file some kind of like
Batman.
perhaps Batman, and see if I can get this resolved, because I'm certain that it was there when I signed up, and I know that I talked to them about it when I signed up. But anyway, all that to say, my internet has been absolutely terrific since then. Comcast is a thing of the past, just a distant nightmare, and hopefully I'll never have to deal with them again. I have no caps. I use as much data as I want. Sometimes I just leave things streaming. I'll have music going or video going in the Cult Command Center. I don't even turn it off. I leave the office. I don't even bother turning it off, because it doesn't matter. Because you know what? Internet is not a natural resource. It's not like bald eagle beaks. There's only so many of those to go around to cure your ailments. You know, it's not like water or redwood forest trees. It is a made-up substance. It's like, and they treat it as though it's like this, reserved commodity that they're going to run out of. I mean, the whole thing is just a complete marketing scam. Anyway, see, you wanted a diatribe. You got one. You're welcome. Thank you for the comment. Let's see. We do have time for one more. Should we do one more?
Let's finish Intuitoms, because I feel bad that we started his and we didn't
All right.
play it out.
Let's see if we can finish playing it now. Although I don't know if it will let me do that now.
Be great to be able to get back in the live stream on a regular basis.
All right, here we go.
And number 3, Griffin.
Uh-oh. Are you sure? You still want to do this, Griffin?
Request.
Do you want me to hit play on this, Griffin?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Says, why
He's
you
going to be
hang
a
out
good
with those
sport.
dumbasses?
He's going to be a good sport. All right, let's go. Lower mix is in the chat. Let's go.
I was just called on in class when I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
But,
no. See, now you're gonna regret your decision. All right, let's go full screen Griffin for this last replay. No, I'm not gonna do that to you. All right, here we go. And to a Tom, you better keep this kind. Let's see.
You do great work on the show.
Oh.
But that startup sound from the old Power Mac
okay, that's not too
is
bad.
driving me nuts.
Ah!
Can we go back to the Quadra original
What?
startup sound that everybody knows
What?
as the Mac startup sound?
Wait a second.
No.
That would
no.
be great.
This,
Otherwise,
the-
love you guys, doing a great job. Talk to you soon.
Thanks
maybe.
to a Tom. That was great. You kept. See, that was a decent roast. He didn't take it too serious and say anything actually hurtful. It's all like lightweight stuff, you know. So that was good.
I think the sound that I use is the Power Macintosh 5400 off the top of my head. And I think it is a much more pleasant Mac startup sound than the other one. It is a soothing, gentle tone. It's just a
you
nice
play it right
wah,
Yeah, can you play it right now?
and that's what it is. How would I play it right now?
Do you have it on your
I don't
phone or
have a
something?
Soundboard.
Don't you have one of those sitting around, right, fired up in the
Yeah, I
back?
was gonna say just literally hit the
Just
power button
mic
on
it.
it. Yeah, put your mic next to it. You should be
I
good.
wish. Well, you know, that was a little tweak that I did when I started editing the show. I changed the Mac startup sound from the whatever one Airfon was using to the Quadra apparently over to the Power Mac 5400. And you know what? I think Intuitom is maybe the first person who has ever noticed.
Oh, I doubt that's
So,
true.
props to
He's just
you.
the first person who's ever said anything.
Yeah, well, didn't you
Power.
say that the download numbers are down? Maybe this is why.
They're cratering actually. Ever since that sound was introduced, now we know why. You said the Power Mac what? Quadra?
I think it's the 5400 that I use.
I'm gonna play it right now. 5400. Play it on. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up on. Oh, see, these are all the chimes, not just that one.
Check Mac Tracker. Don't you have Mac Tracker on your phone? Excellent app for playing various Macintosh
Let's see if this is it.
sounds.
No, I don't. Whoa.
Jeez,
Oh, you
that
know
seems
what?
Pretty complicated.
Can you guys hear it?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know why? It's because I connected my phone via Bluetooth to my soundboard today. See? Not all playing around leads to bad outcomes. But this is playing music that I don't know that we're allowed to play. So now I can't actually play this. But actually, it occurs to me this is an extremely useful tool going forward.
Okay. Real-time follow-up. There is no Power Macintosh 5400. I don't remember. Maybe it's the 6400. I don't remember off the top of my head the model number of the sound that I use, but it is the one I prefer. So tough. That's
Okay,
what I'm
wait.
gonna keep using.
Power Mac 6400, first boot in a long time. Let's see if this does it. This is a long video, though.
No, that's not it.
That's not the one. All right, well, we'll have to look for it. Now I'm curious. I'm not even sure that I noticed the distinction. All right, but you know what? What I can play?
I got an idea.
That song right there. That's it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Thanks to everyone who sent in a voicemail. Please keep sending them. I actually really like that segment a lot. It's fun to hear your feedback, and it's fun to get to talk about stuff with the people that listen to the show. So that's really cool. But that's it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. The party continues in the very exclusive Cult Club, which many of you are about to be kicked out of. But if you want to stay, you can stay by forking it over, support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com, cultof9to5macrumors.com. We won the lawsuit, so that's great. Although there is an appeal, and we might have to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. But until then, both URLs will stay. If you want to come out, hang out with me and Lewis, we're both on the all-new X, Duking It Out. I'm at Airfon, ERF1. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Griffin is D. Griffin Jones. Just Google that. There's hundreds of places he lurks, just waiting for your encounter. You might not even know he's there. He's just waiting in the shadows, and all of a sudden you just feel a hand on your shoulder. It's Griffin. At D. Griffin Jones on your platform of choice. He's probably there.
When do
This
new
has been
episodes of the CultCast come out?
This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute outcast you're going to hear all week long, Griffin. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and for hanging out live. And we will see you guys next time. I should have just waited another 5 or 6 seconds in just absolute awkward silence. Don't you love that just awkward silence? And while we're singing awkward silence, I'll just refresh the browsers on all my open tabs for Nintendo Switch 2 to see if anyone's got one in stock. No, that's it. my greatest mistake. Yeah? Oh, shoot. Bye, y'all.